What moment made you believe in divine intervention? When I sat in the back of a police car with tears streaming down my face. 6 months ago, my sister Vanessa showed up at my door after 3 years of radio silence. She stood there holding baby Emma and looking at my studio apartment like it personally offended her. "Still living in this dump, I see," she said, while shifting Emma to her other hip. "I worked 2 jobs just to afford that dump, but I kept my mouth shut." Then Vanessa launched into her pitch. She'd gotten some office job but needed $800 a month for daycare. "Family helps family," she said. "Funny how people only say that when they need something." I was just about to tell her to F off when baby Emma reached out her tiny hand and grabbed my finger. She wouldn't let go. My heart melted instantly. "Fine," I said, "but only for Emma." Vanessa rolled her eyes. "You're holding her wrong," she snapped. "Support her head better. Gosh, you really don't know anything about babies, do you?" The first few months nearly broke me. I gave up my car and walked 4 miles to work. Stopped eating lunch to save money. My coworker Maria kept asking if I was okay when she caught me sneaking packets of crackers into my pockets, but Emma made it worth it. Vanessa would drop her off on weekends while she ran errands, which was translation for getting drunk with her trashy friends for 8 hours. Meanwhile, Emma and I would read books and practice tracking objects with her eyes. Vanessa never bothered teaching her anything beyond the basics. We were at Vanessa's company picnic when I got to hear Emma's first word, but instead of saying mama, she said Leah, which is my name, BTWLOL. When Vanessa's face turned red, I couldn't help but laugh, not even in a mean way, but because the whole thing was so adorable. Even her boss giggled and said, "Wow, you're so lucky to have such dedicated help." But on the way home, Vanessa almost crashed because she was screaming so much that she could barely even focus on driving. "You're stealing my daughter! You're trying to replace me!" She gripped the steering wheel so hard her knuckles went white. I just sighed and mumbled, "At least I actually spend time with her." And that's when I saw it. Her nails were freshly done and her coffee cup had a receipt showing she'd bought lunch for $15. Meanwhile, I'd been wearing shoes with holes for 6 months. After that, I never saw her again. Or not really, anyway. Because over the next few weeks, Vanessa barely let me see Emma. She'd drop her off and pick her up without coming inside. Emma would cry and reach for me every time Vanessa carried her away. I started getting desperate. The stealing started small, just a can of soup here and there, then formula when Emma needed it. I knew it was wrong, but I told myself it was for her. And I didn't know it at the time, but Vanessa hated me enough to ruin my life. I was walking home from my coffee shop job when the police pulled up. Turns out Vanessa had been following me into the store, recording me on her phone as I slipped bread into my jacket. My heart hammered as they asked about the thefts. The officer cuffed me and put me in the back of the squad car. That's when I broke down and told him everything. The forced babysitting, working 70 hours a week, the guilt trips. I expected him to look at me like I was an effing psycho. But next thing I knew, he pulled over the car and handed me $20. Before I could say anything, he told me to never steal again before kicking me out and driving away. I rushed home to find my apartment door wide open. Emma's toys were gone. The books we read together vanished. Vanessa's text made my blood run cold. "You want to play parent? Try doing it with a criminal record." I didn't know what she meant until the next morning, because that's when I was served with a restraining order. Vanessa claimed I was a dangerous influence who taught Emma to steal. As I was reading the notice, I got a call. It was my manager from Target asking me about alarming allegations involving a child. They fired me on the spot, and a few days later, Vanessa sent me a love letter. It was from her lawyer, suing me for emotional distress, and that I owed her $50,000 in damages. She claimed my criminal behavior, an inappropriate relationship with Emma, had caused her psychological trauma requiring therapy. That's when it hit me. She never needed my money. This was never about daycare. She wanted to destroy me because Emma loved me more than her. But she forgot one thing. I've got nothing left to lose and everything to fight for. Full story on channel, link below.